As Interstate 10 rolls out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, heading west towards Texas, it passes over the largest river basin swamp in America, the Atchafalaya Swamp. The air is almost always humid there and the road often slick. Stuntmen have helped us reenact the events that took place on the afternoon of August the 11th, 1988, on the bridge above and in the swamp below. At times as large as 75 miles long by 40 miles wide, the Atchafalaya Swamp is densely inhabited by creatures furry, feathered, and scaly. Up on the 23-mile bridge, trucker Robert Fordham was hauling an 80,000-pound load to Wadsworth, Texas on a flatbed semi. Bill Kessler was also driving west on his way back to medical school after a vacation.
I was in a rented Winnebago that we had taken to Florida, so I remember seeing the truck. And I kind of looked at it twice because it had some kind of unique casings, these blue fiberglass-like casings, and I was just kind of wondering what he was hauling. You know, I'd never seen anything like that before.
The sealed blue canisters contained radioactive materials.
It started off to be a pretty nice day, but I kind of got that Louisiana humidity downpour and got pretty nasty pretty fast.
A collision up ahead forced the traffic to stop suddenly on the wet road. Robert Fordham had been thrown through the truck's windshield and over the side on impact. Now he was drowning, 40 feet below the bridge.
There were people running around, you know, saying, "There's a guy in the water, there's a guy in the water."
Fred LaLumondiere rushed to the rail from his U-Haul, and Bill Kessler from the Winnebago.
People started screaming, "Get a rope," or some kind of a chain or something, and I was like, this guy's hurt, he's drowning, he just went under. And I knew a rope wouldn't do it because he was pretty much out of it. He couldn't even keep himself above water, so I knew a rope, he wouldn't be able to hold onto a rope.
We just kind of looked at each other, and we knew we were going in. But I asked him, I said, "Are you going to go in?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll go in."
I was really worried because it was scary. You know, all I could see was some stumps sticking up, and I really didn't know what I was jumping into.
There's also alligators and snakes and nutria down there, which are like big rats.
I wanted to do it because I could not stand to see that guy drowning. I mean, it was like tearing me apart. I was like, oh my God, somebody's dying, and I couldn't stand there to see it. And we just kind of looked at each other and just jumped.
He flailed just a little bit, and I said, "We're here to help you." And he just totally relaxed.
We were kind of looking around because we didn't know exactly where to go at the time because we didn't know anything about the area. And Bill pointed out that there was a bank. He said, "Well, let's take him over there."
Okay, you got an accident on, just as you get up on the bridge going to Lafayette on 10.
A call came into the Louisiana State Police at 1:45 p.m.
And you got a van load of kids.
Uh-huh.
And you got some out on the side of the highway. They're injured.
And your name?
Wayne Elliott.
All right, thanks, Wayne.
You're welcome.
All right.
Mark Green had taken his small boat out in the swamp to go fishing with his son Bo and his nephew Jason.
We saw the cars on the interstate starting to back up a little bit, so Jason said, "Well, let's go down and see what happened."
You could tell he was hurt because he kept gasping, and then I kind of looked down, and he had his eyes wide open, and I couldn't see him breathing, and it scared me. I thought, oh my God, and I said, "Bill, is he dead?" And then all of a sudden he kind of moved, and you could see his eyes moving.
They needed to get Fordham to the hospital as soon as possible.
30 seconds out.
Be advised, possible patient in the water headed to that location.
A ground ambulance and an air ambulance helicopter arrived almost simultaneously, within 10 minutes of the call. Chuck Thompson was the first paramedic on the scene.
I knew that You really shouldn't be jumping off this bridge into this swamp. In the murky water, just 4 or 5 inches deep, you could not see a stump. And it could be ungodly landing on top of a stump. I threw what's called a scoop stretcher down, and it's used for immobilizing someone who's been traumatized.
Robert Fordham needed immediate medical attention. It was paramedic Thompson's job to find a safe way to get to him quickly.
Bill, who's a med student, he said, well, let's not drag him up on the bank because we could, if he has a broken back or something, we could kill him.
All ready?
There's alligators and snakes all through the swamp. That's an obstacle that you have to be aware of that can possibly be down in that area. It's not a place I would like to live in unless I was well armed and knew exactly where I was standing.
Thompson would have to transport the victim to the helicopter somehow. Without a winch, the chopper couldn't haul anyone back up onto the bridge.
I thought the guy was going to die. Every time we'd even move him in the water or anything, the guy would just show real intense pain. And I said, this guy's all busted up inside and he's going to probably die.
When he started snapping back into reality a little bit, all he was saying was, thank you, thank you. We just basically told him to hang in there, and then we kind of just made small talk so we could see that he was conscious.
The air ambulance was waiting at the nearest ground level place it could land, 2 miles back at the base of the bridge.
So at this point, I'm still hunting in the dark about what is wrong with my patient, other than trying to get fluids on board him to replenish him, to get his blood pressure up, trying to maintain oxygen, to keep him with enough oxygen in his system, and still trying to assess his level of consciousness to determine if there is, in fact, a head injury, which is also complicating his situation.
You got B lines clear? You got it, Scott. Clear. I've got it here. Go ahead and get it chucked in your bag. We're going to be at the trauma center in just a second. It'll be about 6 to 8 minutes.
Amazingly, after being thrown through a windshield and dropped 40 feet into a swamp, Robert Fordham had no injury more serious than a severely strained back. After 5 days, he was released from the hospital.
A lot of people, they don't care. They're worried about themselves. If you can't do it for somebody else, don't expect anybody else to help you, is the way I feel, you know? Because if somebody's really hurt that bad and they really need help, and if you turn your back on them, it's just like you almost killed them yourself.
I got hugs from everyone. Everybody thought that it was a really big deal, although it wasn't sinking in to me, you know. I had no idea really what we had done.
That's really the true mark of a hero, is that you do it without thinking of your own safety. You do it instinctively. You don't stand there and cognitively make a decision. Let's see, now, what is my risk involved here? They just did it. They looked at each other, and they went over the edge.
One of the highway patrolmen had come up and said, did y'all look at what y'all did? Did y'all look at the bridge that y'all jumped off? And I said, well, I haven't had a chance yet. And so he took us over to the side, and then I really got to look, and I really got to think about what we did, and it really scared me. I mean, I had nightmares. After this happened, I had nightmares for a couple of weeks. Because I would wake up in the middle of the night kind of sweating, and, you know, I could just going over it in my mind in a dream, and it really did. It scared me bad.
We walked up on the wreck, and there was an older woman who was a car back from where our camper was, and she said, I'm so proud of you boys. Your mothers are going to kill you.
A year later, trucker Robert Fordham has fully recovered from his injuries.
I just know I was a goner. Water was real murky, and I thought about gators or water moccasins might be in that swamp water down there. And I was saying, oh, man, you know, well, let me be gator bait, you know. Like I know 2 guys came off the bridge like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. If it wasn't for these 2 college students, brave young men, you know, I wouldn't have been here today to tell you what happened.
A person has to be a really terrific person to do what those 2 guys did. They risked their own life to save my husband's life. If one day we meet, I'll give him the biggest kiss and hug in the world, but thank you.